Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines, and indeed we are a live news show for movie fans, where we're going to be talking about all the trending movie news headlines of the day, including Michael Caine. I thought he was retired, but he's saying semi-retired? I don't know. DC Studios has a new, warehouse to work in or something. We got some horror headlines. Ahsoka Ratings suggest that it's not doing as bad as some people say, but I got questions about it. And opening up this week, we got a horror movie called It Lives Inside. Expendables 4 is here, guys. It finally arrives, and is it being well received? We'll take a look at the early reviews. We start off today's show by talking about that Guillermo del Toro Star Wars project that was, not announced, but we were made aware of yesterday. So Guillermo del Toro and David S. Goyer almost made a Star Wars movie together. The screenwriter said, this is from Goyer, the screenwriter, he said that it was a cool script and that there was a lot of cool artwork from it that was produced. So when was this supposed to happen? Several years ago. Was it supposed to be under the Disney regime? I guess. During a recent episode of Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, Goyer shared that he actually wrote an unproduced Star Wars movie that Guillermo del Toro was going to direct about 4 years ago. So then, yes, that's under the Disney regime. Many, many moons ago, about 6 years ago. What, 6 years ago? 6 or 4 years ago? What are you talking about, man? About 4 years ago, Del Toro later clarified. 4 years ago, okay. There was just a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on at Lucasfilm at the time. Yeah, no kidding. But it's a cool script he added. There's a lot of cool artwork from that we produced. Imagine a Del Toro Star Wars, like what he's done with his works. He spends so much time in crafting the look and the design, production design of what his films are like. I would look stellar. Like Del Toro's up there on my Mount Rushmore of directors right now. Even above Spielberg and above Scorsese, I would watch a Del Toro project first, without a doubt, because it's just going to be, it's going to be visionary. You know it's going to have a different angle to it, and he just seems like he's a really grounded dude too when you hear him talk and stuff like that. When we watched Cabinet of Curiosities, it was such a pleasure to watch him come out and kind of give like the opening spiel to each episode. His voice is really calming too for some reason. I don't get it. As to why the film was never greenlit, the Dark Knight writer explained there was just a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So he wrote an unproduced script from the Origins of the Jedi movie, which was set 250,000 years before the first Star Wars film. So it would have been like really. Goyer was working on the Origins. It would have been before the Old Republic, right? Which was set 25,000 years before the first Star Wars film. Origins of the Jedi. So it's like, it would have been like people who are Force sensitive, who realize they can do things by using the Force, realize that, okay, well, we can maybe try to develop these powers, and then what comes with that? What kind of responsibility comes with the power of being able to do this? Should we be crafting this for, like, selfish reasons? Wait a minute, is that a little bit of the dark side? I feel something negative about this that's consuming me. Like, there's so much there that could have been explored for sure with the first kind of Jedi kind of thing. But that's cool. That's cool. And just to close out some David S. Goyer headlines, I guess he was also he was involved with Man of Steel, right? He said that when he was working on the Man of Steel project, you'll see these headlines, as you can see, that are on the big trade. So we're talking about them. That the executives over there at the WB were like, we need our MCU, and they were just pushing expanded universe and all that kind of stuff. And I don't think he tries to present that as like an excuse as to why the DCU kind of fell apart. But if you can kind of take it from that angle that, yeah, they were pressured to try to make it all work. And originally, some of these scripts that were not intended for multiverse stuff or like expanded universe stuff were shoehorned in later. I could see that totally happening, right? That, oh yeah, this movie wasn't supposed to be connected, but okay, fine, it is. We'll have a post credit scene, or you know what? We'll go back and do some reshoots and we'll put that in. Yeah, I can totally see that now, right? The studio did this in order to compete with Marvel. Yeah, I know the pressure we were getting from Warner Bros., which was, we need our MCU. We need our MCU. I was like, let's not run before we walk, Goyer said. Well, that's what a lot of people say, right? Just write out all the scripts. Try to make a good first movie, a launching pad, right? The other thing was that uh, that difficult at the time was there was this revolving door of executives at WB and DC. Every 18 months, someone new would come in. Oh, yeah, that too. That is something that a lot of people also gloss over too, is that there was that changing of the guard. So they would set a course, new people would come in, they would change the course. Okay, fine, we're going in that direction now. And the zigzag augmented by the need for trying to everything to be like a connected universe kind of thing. Yeah, I think we all saw that coming. Uh, Goyer also apparently worked with Fincher in developing a Blade movie. Fincher was attached to Blade. That one caught my eye, so I had to pull this one as well. I guess this must have come out all of this happy, sad, confused podcast. This is that when something like that happens, people mine it for material. Like me, James? Yes, like me, like we're doing today. Anyway, uh, at the time, David Fincher had only directed Alien 3. I developed a draft with Fincher before he had done 7. I think he had done Alien 3, and maybe he was developing 7. I developed a draft with him, talking about Blade. I remember going to our producer's office, and Fincher had this. There was this giant conference table. Fincher laid out 40 to 50 books of photography and art with post it notes inside them. He said, "This is the movie." For Blade? Really? Goyer continued, Fincher took us on a 2-hour tour of the table of the aesthetics of this scene. That character, who was such a fully fleshed out visual pitch. There's no question that a lot of that, I never seen something like that before. A lot of thinking infused my further revisions. It took a number of years before Blade finally got off the ground. So Fincher had a hand in trying to get that Wesley Snipes Blade off the ground. Fascinating. Really fascinating. But those are the Goyer headlines. Those are the Del Toro Star Wars headlines. What do you guys think? I would have loved to seen the Del Toro Star Wars, and yeah, Goyer, interesting headlines. Yeah, here are my other social media handles, guys. We do a lot of gaming stuff on Twitch. Sometimes we watch movies over there as well. You can see extended versions of some of the shorts that we publish here on YouTube, on TikTok, and Instagram. We will be doing a lot more on Facebook soon, coming along once I can get a live day set up for that. Maybe Friday nights we'll do Facebook Live. No, most people are. I don't know. We'll figure out something. Spawn Reboot sounds interesting, James. Yeah, we'll talk about the Spawn reboot here in a minute. I want to talk about what is it? Opening up this week, guys. Opening up this week in the theaters. We've got a bunch of new releases. A couple new releases, I guess. Well, Barbie is coming back to the IMAX. Okay, that's weird because it just came out on VOD, right? Creation of the Gods, Kingdom of Storms, Expendables 4 finally arrives, right? The Great Indian Family also opened up. And then, what do you not have? Oh my God, they don't even have that one here. Mastani. They've got Jurassic Park 3D for some reason, and Jawan, but they do not have It Lives Inside. They've got the retirement plan here at this theater. But yeah, I guess I'm going to have to pull up the Galaxy showtimes. Expendables 4 and It Lives Inside. It Lives Inside is the one that I saw last night. So we will be doing a full review for It Lives Inside in just a few moments. Expendables 4. Not looking good, guys. Not looking good. The embargo dropped like, what, 4 p.m. yesterday? Jeremy Johns posted his review for it, and he's somebody that I trust. Yeah. The magic of Expendables was that we're finally going to be able to see Arnold and Sylvester Stallone together on the big screen. And it's going to be cool that he's bringing in all these other action stars like Dolph Lundgren, Bruce Willis, all these, and Jean Claude Van Damme. It's kind of like, yeah, that was the sell of it, right? Um, and now that they've kind of gone through all of the people like Mel Gibson and stuff like that, Andy Garcia, Chuck Norris, it's kind of like Jet Li. It's like, well, who's left? Nobody's left. Let's bring in 50 Cent and Megan Fox. That should be good enough. And we're going to hand over the franchise to Jason Statham. Now, Jason Statham, I'm not going to knock. He's a competent actor. I just, he has led smaller films in the past, but not any big, huge blockbuster films where he's like the main lead. Meg 2, James, wasn't he the lead in that? Meg 2? Well, yeah. But I would say that the sharks and the scenario of Meg are more of a draw than like Statham. Anyway, yeah, the reviews are not good. 15%. The bar was already set so low, and yet this film manages to sneak under it. New York Times says the film's last reel is so awful, so sneering contemptuous of our good faith efforts to play along with these shenanigans, that we leave the theater still thinking of that shot of a corpse's middle finger. It seemed pointed at us. Oh, so, yeah, well, we know it's hokey. Matt Donato, yeah, we trust what he says here. Expendables feels like a bargain brand imitation of the series it's a part of, a regression in its quality that's achingly visible on screen between billowing fireballs and splattering noggins. Okay, oh, somebody liked it. City AM, a serviceable action film that will likely satisfy those in search of violence and explosions. Well, if that's what you came for, well, that testimonial seems to prove that it's there. They've got a whole bunch of character posters. Get rid of those. Like, yes, 50 Cent is big, but he's not big enough to say, oh, I'm going to go see the next 50 Cent movie. And yes, expect that Stallone's only going to be in it for like the first 5 minutes, if barely that. Statham, as I said, he's competent. It's a lot of explosions. My I would say, what's the running time? If it's over an hour and 30 minutes, then you're rolling with you're playing with fire there. An hour and 43, that's not too bad. I would have preferred to have seen an hour and 20 minutes for this kind of film. James, that's barely in the theater then. You're barely in there. Well, that's kind of what this material should be. Well, I don't expect, you should not have a scene in here with Expendables of big character building. Because these are not actors that are meant to have scenes like Robert De Niro and Al Pacino in Heat when they're sitting in the coffee shop together. Like they're not of that ability to pull that off. None of these people are. And I'm sorry, oh James, but don't you know that Tony Jaa's so awesome? Yes. Andy Garcia and Stallone alone could maybe pull off a scene like that. But they're on the same side. They're not the bad guy, right? And as I said, this is kind of like, you know, they beat the bad guy at the end. We know that there's action in there. The problem with the trailers is that it showed that like the big final climax on the boat looks like it was all CG kind of thing. And yeah, we saw that echoed in the comments. So I was gonna try to sneak out to see this in a matinee, but I'm kind of like, I got other pictures I would rather see, like Bottoms or even Jawan. I would see before this. So sorry, guys. I hate to say that, but I'll catch it when it comes out on streaming. It Lives Inside is the other film that opens up this week in the theaters. 68% by critics, 38 by the audience. So, yeah, if you saw my straight out of the theater reaction for it, I was being very gentle with it. We'll get into my review a little bit more critically here in just a little bit, where we'll talk about some of the ins and outs of that movie. Basically, this girl has like this demon caught in a jar kind of thing. The jar breaks and the demon comes out and starts to kill a whole bunch of people, and then the demon gets put back in the jar in the end, kind of thing, or does it? Who knows? Ooh, it's like that kind of thing, right? Yeah, so the choices out there in the theater this weekend, other than Barbie, It Lives Inside, Expendables 4, I would say out of them, if you haven't seen Haunting in Venice yet, go see Haunting in Venice. Nun 2 is actually even better than It Lives Inside for sure. And Barbie's still in the theater. If you haven't seen it on the IMAX, yeah. I have one other recommendation that's opening up this week, guys, and if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. It's a movie called Johnny John or Suspect X. We did a full live watch along for it yesterday on the channel, and I recommend that. Actually, out of all the three movies, um, I would say stay home and watch the Netflix Suspect X. Very satisfying movie. Totally worthwhile. Um let's talk about some live chat comments here. Let's scroll up to what Arglass said here. Ancient Jedi would be cool to cover on the big screen. Ahsoka is moving towards Bendu character. That's neither Jedi or Sith. Neither better man. No better man than Del Toro to give darker, richer movie. Also not to be. Yeah, alas, not to be. Yeah, that sucks about Del Toro. Um, Schobert, does the Spawn reboot have a release date or a year yet? No, not yet. We'll talk about that soon coming up. Artglass, I think Expendables 5 will be the last of the franchise if they go all out with a bang. No, I don't think there's going to be an Expendables 5. If it is, it's going to be straight to DVD, kind of straight to streaming. I don't think that Expendables is going to do well at the box office. Apparently, Megan Fox and Statham's on-screen performance is good, but that ain't enough for me, James. Yeah, box office wise, it is being forecast that Expendables will be number one. We saw the report, was it yesterday, that it was around 14 to 15 million. Here, this is a little bit higher up, I think. Expendables with 17 million coming in as a prognostication. That's high. It's possible. Maybe I've misread the waters here, but I'm an action fan. I do like action movies, but it's just like out of my choices, as I said, I've got better choices right now. Nun 2, they say 10 million, A Haunting of Venice 7, Equalizer 3, 5, and Barbie 4. Now, Barbie may sneak back into the top 5 because of the IMAX release, but notice what's missing here is that they don't have that It Lives Inside here in the top 5. Now, they got The Nun 2 only chopped down 4 million from last week. I don't know about that. I actually think that it's going to be I do think Expendables 4 will be number one though. But I don't think it's going to be 17 million. I think it's going to be more like around 14 million, 14 to 15 million. And then I think it's going to be Haunting in Venice, Nun 2, It Lives Inside, and Equalizer 3. Because I don't think the IMAX releases will bump Barbie up another 2 million or so. I don't think it will, especially because Barbie's just now out on VOD, right? So those are my top 5. I think Big Fat Greek Wedding and Barbie Blue Beetle will all not be in the top 5 because yeah, where in this prognostication they're not talking about It Lives Inside, which is really weird. Really weird. All right. I think that's all I have for that. Let me get set up for my full review of It Lives Inside. I hope the Expendables 4 gets more reviews than just 15%. Yeah, that's not good reviews, James. I bet if Arnold was in it. Oh yeah, if Arnold was in it, then fine. I'm there. Sign me up. Take my money. It's there. Oh, Arnold is one of the few actors out there that, yeah, I'll still watch any project that he's in. Okay. Let's make sure. Turn off the old chat. And let's do it. It Lives Inside is out this week, guys, and here's my quick review for it. It Lives Inside. An Indian American teenager struggling with her cultural identity has a falling out with her former best friend, and in the process, unwittingly releases a demonic entity that grows stronger by feeding on her loneliness. Well, if you've seen the trailers for this, yeah, there is a a cultural element to this that I guess I didn't clue into in the trailers so much, but it's really played up in the movie. Basically, there's like this demon that's caught in the jar, and you got to feed it negative emotions and stuff like that. And my problem with this movie, I didn't hate this movie, but I also didn't really like this movie. Uh, it's because of a cultural thing, and I said this out of my straight out of the theater reaction, is that it feels like this was based on some kind of legend that from East Indian culture, but they've embellished it to transform it into this movie, right, into the big screen. And I think that embellishing will work for some, but it won't work for others, because if you don't know the base legend of it, then you don't know what the powers are. Now, I was trying to think of a counter argument to this last night. Uh, okay, well, hey, did you know all that much about Freddy when it came out? Well, we knew that there was a guy in the dreams trying to come out and kill them, and that, of course, if he's got the power of the dreams, and he can make himself look like anything, kind of thing. Did you know what the monsters were in Tremors before they showed it? No, but you saw scary stuff happening, right? Of people being drugged underground and stuff. And there's stuff like that in this. Yes, there's an entity of some kind. You see that they're playing with the hair sometime when they're just standing there. It comes in the closet at night, kind of thing. But you don't know. Okay, does it have the ability to jump out and attack me here, or is it trying to get at me psychologically? And just because of my unawareness of it, it kind of took me out at times, right? Yeah, there's the playing of the hair. um, and I think it has to do with the execution of the story. So I'm faulting a lot of this on the director. um, that, oh, you're being chased by a demon, okay, fine. Let's pretend for a while that it's true. But instead of calling the authorities or any kind of help, let's sit down and make a nice meal together. It's like that kind of thing. And you're just like, wait, what? Shouldn't you be calling 911 here? Even if it's like a situation where they come and they say that you're full of BS. It's like, well, yes, you should be calling the authorities. Hello. It's like, wow. The acting. Let's get into some of the score sheet here, because I do want to talk about some of the act. The acting was pretty. It was maybe the best part of this. Um, Acting, directing, and story out of a possible 2 points each. Cinematography and score are out of 1 point each. 0.5 is serviceable. It's a standard across all films, even if they're terrible. If it's got serviceable cinematography, it's a given kind of thing, right? It's a serviceable score. It's given. I don't remember anything about the score, the music in there. I guess there was a little bit. Cinematography was competent. The only reason why I would ever take a cinematography score away from a movie is that if it's like this all the time and you can't tell what's going on, it's got quick cuts where it's like, guys, let me breathe for a second here. Like some of those final movies in the Resident Evil with Mia Jovovich, where it's kind of like, this 30-second sequence had like 20 cuts in it. And it's like, for God's sakes, it's not like that. That's when I would dock something for cinematography, because that's just lazy. So acting was the best part of this. It's got at least, I would say, 2 decent performances in it, and it does have some silliness in it when it comes to some of the stuff that you'll see in like the movie. I think was it the first trailer that had it, where there's like somebody playing on a swing set, and the monster. Oh yeah, right here, the monster has them, like that kind of thing, where it's kind of like, okay, we see him getting thrown around, thrashed around, just like Freddy did when he's invisible, lifting the person up on from the mattress onto the ceiling and stuff like that, right? But it goes on perhaps a little too long, where it's kind of like, okay, it was scary for the first few seconds, but then now it's kind of like, that's should I be laughing at this or no? It's serious. This is supposed to be serious. And that falls to the execution of the director and the directing of not being able to properly recognize the scare worked for just a few seconds and not being able to pull back on it, right? And it loses you. He overworked it. That's a good way to think about it. He overworked it. Was it competently shot? Was the technical stuff done pretty well? I would say, but would I say that it was serviceable? Yes, because I do think that there'll be some people out there that may like this. But the highlight is this acting. The story, I don't even know if I can give it a serviceable. The story is so schlocky. The base premise is interesting. The base premise, and most movies do have a base premise that's interesting. But I got to dock it for a lot of those things where, as I said, we should be calling the cops, but instead, let's sit down and talk about your feelings. And in talking about your feelings, let's get you dressed up in your nice traditional garments, and let's put some henna on. Oh, right, I forgot that there's this big monster trying to come kill you. It's like, what? Like, what? Watchability factor, guys. Well, if you're a horror fan, I would say check it out. It's got the one point for sure. And if this cultural thing works for you, if you're a younger person, if you're a horror fan, a horror fanatic would definitely check this out at least once. You don't want to buy this on Blu-ray or anything. You're not going to be waiting for the 4K Steelbook release for this movie. Let me just say that. This movie's going to come and go. It's from Neon that picked this up to distribute it, from the producers of Get Out. That's not enough. But yeah, 5 out of 10. What were people saying about it on the tomato meter? Let's just take a look. 68% by critics, 38% by the audience. So I'm somewhere in between there, right? I'm not as harsh as the audience. And you know what? That cultural angle, I want to say, could be stepping on the toes of the people of that culture too, because they are embellishing it, right? I don't know. Let's go and take a look at some of the snapshot reviews and see what people are saying. Megan Suri. Yeah, she was the main character, right? She did good. And the father at times did pretty well too, right? Inesh Vic Sahe or Saway did well. So Detroit News, Dutta, so they liked it. Dutta, making his feature film directorial debut, zeroes in on a thread of displacement and assimilation as felt through the immigration experience. Immigration, what the heck? Well, I guess the mother, there's one conversation between the mother and daughter saying, why did you come to North America, kind of thing. Well, I guess it is sort of a subtle there in the background. You brought this thing over. with all your negative emotions kind of thing. Whatever. But the metaphor makes for odd bedfellows with a literal monster that is stalking around. And the monster reveal in this, sadly, is one of the weakest monster reveals that I've seen in a film in a long time. It was a valiant attempt, but it wasn't shot properly. It's kind of like, you know how Spielberg, if he showed the full shark that was like on the rails and stuff, and you could tell that, oh yeah, that's just on being pulled on rails underneath the water. If we actually saw that, like what they did with Jaws 4, where you can actually see that, you could see the little arm coming up from underneath the shark that held it on the track. That's the difference. Spielberg knew what he had, and he shot it limitedly. He gave us it in sparing shots. If the director had done that with the monster, it would have been far more effective. But when the full reveal comes, and you can tell that it's just not that good. Not that good. Jake Wilson didn't like it. The Age, the first feature film from the young Indian-American writer-director Bishal Dutta, is an intermittently interesting example of the genre, though not especially a skillful one. So yeah, that's echoing my sentiment about the execution of the story. The director just didn't have the experience yet to take something like as mundane of a story like this. Demon in a jar gets out, kills a bunch of people. It didn't add anything new. It didn't bring anything new to the table with that, right? Something new. Associated Press didn't like it. Something new, new faces, the new themes, a promising filmmaker to watch, but I wish I would have embraced more the things that make it unique as opposed to trying to fit in with its genre brethren. Yeah. Let's take a look at some other reviews. I wonder if Perry's on here yet. I would love to see if she had posted something for this. I'm not seeing it. If I scan over it, I apologize. But yeah, you guys kind of get the feeling of what this movie is. Sci-Fi Now says, if Bishal Dutta's horror hybrid and adolescent's Indian American risks losing her own soul to cultural conformity. Yeah, I can see that cultural conformity there. Oh, Matt Donato liked it though, huh? It Lives Inside is a demonic horror tale that plays recognizable genre hits with a cultural twist. Well, he was fairly forgiving to it then. Wow. Wow. So 5 out of 10 for me, guys. It Lives Inside. I said this. Just wait for the streaming. Put it on in the background when you're just kind of like, you need something in there and you're interested, you're slightly intrigued with it. That's what I would say. Directorial debut from Bishal Dutta. That makes sense, knowing that this is his first time outing. Oh wow, he's really young, isn't he? That's not a problem. Young people have made good films before. It's just the inexperience here did hit home. I think he's going to have other chances at bat because some of the technical stuff did work, like setting up the camera shots and locations, picking of actors in it. So he's done some TV stuff, some shorts, nothing really big and major. Directing, yeah. It Lives Inside. Could you do better this weekend? Well, Expendables 4 is out. The reviews for Expendables 4 are also, well, actually, they're worse. They're terrible. Guys, you know what you're getting with that. But out of the cultural things, on Netflix, I would say go out and check out Johnny John, or it's under Suspect X on Netflix with Kareena Kapoor. Very interesting. And in fact, it's weird that Johnny, or is it John? That word shows up in It Follows. It's weird. And I saw both of those movies yesterday. It's curious that life decided to give me that word because I caught it. Of course I caught it. It was topical. But anyway, if you had fun with it, if you liked it, let me know in the comments below what you liked. And if you didn't, well, hey, then we're pretty much in agreement. If you like this kind of stuff, guys, come to the channel, subscribe. We do lots of fun stuff. As I said, we react to full movies like Johnny John or Suspect X. My review for Inside It Lives Inside will be put up on the channel later separately. We got trailer reactions for A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Ahsoka episode 6 is up on the channel too. We're watching Ahsoka and I'm really liking it. Trailer reactions for Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Movie reviews for Hunting in Venice, and of course then we do movie news here at least 2 or 3 times a week. We're going to be trying to do at least one primetime show here once a week at night, and then we'll be doing night shows on Facebook at least once a week too. So come join us on the social media handles, Mirror Domains or Mirror Domains Official, and yeah, we have lots of fun talking movies. All right, that's it for me, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. I'll see you next time on Mirror Domains. All right, let's take some live comments from the live chat because we're doing a live show here. Hourglass says, a director overcooking a scene is one thing, James, but for the producer and editor not to crop the film to fit the tone is another. Yeah. Does the director oversee the special effects inserted in the scene? Yes, of course. Most definitely. He's driving everything, right? He's saying, this is what I need for this shot to compose the script and the movie into what we're going for, right? So the director's always going to have input in to what goes into the final thing, and that includes the editing room as well. The editor just doesn't sit there in all by himself, at least in the ideal scenarios. And if if you watch making of Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, you'll see the directors like Lucas and Peter Jackson in the editing bay working, and sometimes the director will edit scenes themselves. They're in there, they have inputs on all this stuff. It's just the call was made to have I think it was a man in suit, and the man in suit didn't work all that well because it was shown in a light that was kind of like, it's not that scary. It removed the scare factor. Yeah, traditionally the director is the driver. In this age, Marvel, it seems to have redefined roles. Well, that's the scenario, and that's a bigger market. That's to the bigger machine of movie making, right? But this It Lives Inside was a smaller film. It shouldn't have had those same type of restrictions. Chris Schober said, I bet that, no, that's like the lowest budget rating review on a movie I've seen ever, James. Wow, that's not good for Expendables 4. Yeah, Expendables 4 with the 15%. I'll see what Stuckman says about it later on. He's sometimes a little bit more forgiving about the situations. Oh yeah, but I forgot. If Stuckman doesn't like a film, he doesn't review it, right? So there you go. If he doesn't review it, then we'll see. All right. Where are we at? Let me just wet the whistle here. So as you saw, we are watching Ahsoka. Episode 5 and 6 are dynamite. The series is becoming really good. I don't understand this headline though. Ahsoka makes strong debut. Actually, it didn't. I saw the reports that episode 1 and 2 were like abysmal. Very few people were watching it. But now they're saying that, okay, it's big. Well, Ahsoka series is second among original series for its opening weekend. Original series. So it's being measured against other original series. So this headline is a little bit misleading, right? That doesn't mean it's being compared to other things like One Piece, which we'll talk about in just a minute, or Who is Aaron Carter. Let's see here. Ahsoka is in number 5 spot overall. So for the overall ratings here, Suits is still number 1 on Netflix and Peacock. Who is Aaron Carter is number 2. Really? I tried to watch the first episode of Who is Aaron Carter. I like the scenario that she can handle herself in a physical fight, but it was just once they laid out the scenario, the episode just kept on going on, and I was like, I'm bored. Okay, yeah, she's hiding something in her past. Yeah, she can fight. I like the relationship that she's teaching her daughter to defend, like do that stuff, uh, to be aware of it. But it lost me. But apparently, a lot of people are watching it. Bluey on Disney Plus, Grey's Anatomy. Ahsoka's there, number 5, 829 million for overall. What's missing from there, guys? We just talked about it. Where's One Piece? One Piece was supposed to be huge, number 1 for weeks on end on Netflix. One Piece. Well, it's not because it's not on Netflix. Overall, where is it? Where's One Piece? That's why I look at this charting, and I'm like, you're not including everything, are you? You're not. So get out of here with these. This is totally misleading. Original series: Who is Aaron Carter and Ahsoka is number 2. Now I understand that, yeah, One Piece wouldn't be there for original series because it's based off of an anime, but it should be there in the overall. So I cry foul. I call BS. And when I see something like this, then it's no point in dwelling on it, because what point is in that? Whoops, sorry. Movies. You are so not invited to my bat mitzvah. That's that Adam Sandler comedy, right, where his real life daughter stars in it or something. The Flash is on the max right now, guys. The Monkey King. The Pope's Exorcist is on Netflix. No, it's not. No, it's not. Is it? The Pope's Exorcist? Let me pull that up. Maybe it's only on the American. If it was, I might do a two popes. Yeah, it's not on mine. Huh. I would like to watch the Pope's Exorcist with you guys. Moana, the Black Demon, Prime Video. Oh, we knew the Black Demon. It's been a hit for Prime Video. It was a bomb at the box office. It came and went, and nobody talked about it. But apparently, it got good reviews. Heart of Stone on Netflix is still in there. Good. I really liked Heart of Stone with Gal Gadot. I did. Um, yeah. But we are watching Ahsoka right now, guys. So yeah, I don't know why One Piece wasn't included in those ratings. That's a bit bizarre. It is. Um, I don't know why this is a headline. Ahsoka star Mary Elizabeth Winstead shares behind the scenes details about her Hera transformation. And apparently, it only took an hour for her to get into costume because they only painted her face, and that the headpiece, the helmet, puts on her not horns. What are they? Tendrils. And then of course then she just wears a costume, right? So I come in, I get painted green, I got head tails on, and I was Hera. I was sort of just for story's sake. I'd love for it to be really complicated and say it was an 8-hour process, but it wasn't. No, you don't want it to be an 8-hour process. I would be. I have the highest respects for some of the makeup people that go in and have to sit in the chair for like 4 hours before they can even start working in front of the camera. That's one of the reasons why Jennifer Lawrence got a bit disenchanted with the Mystique character. Mystique took a lot of time because that was full body, right? Yeah. Michael Caine is in the headlines. Says Michael Caine, The Great Escaper could be his last film, and he's sort of retired already. The Great Escaper. Did we see a trailer for that? The Great Escaper. I think we did, didn't we? It sounds vaguely familiar. I had clicked on it before. Linda Jackson. Bernard Jordan escapes from his care home to attend a 70th anniversary of D-Day landings in France. Well, I'll go check that one out. That's a very interesting premise. Michael Caine, if this is going to be his final swan song, um, uh, he's definitely in the Hall of Fame of actors for sure. Michael Caine. What does he say here? He says, "I'm bloody 90 now, and I can't walk properly, and all that. They gave me a very good walking stick, and I was able to do scenes that needed that. I just do them once and then fall over, but just one take, and that's it. Forget it." So it sounds like he can barely, stand up. Um, and he was in Jaws 4. Jaws 4 came up twice today, oddly. Weird. I liked him as Hoagie, though, in Jaws 4. Apparently, though, he's never watched the film. And I can totally understand why. But, yeah. He says, "I'm sort of retired now." I would say so. You're 90, you've got a great career. And by the premise of that last film, The Great Escaper, um, why not end on a high note, right? October 6th is when this comes out. Could be the last time that you see Michael Caine in a picture. The Great Escaper. And if it is the last time, kudos, man. Job well done. Arglass says, "I know I'm in the minority, but Hera and Sabine are not ticking the boxes for me. The acting is too stunted and repressed for me." Let's see. I could see that about Sabine. I haven't really heard any other people's criticisms about that. Hera, we haven't really seen that much, but yeah, she's a little wooden at times. But I don't discount Mary Elizabeth Winstead. If she's gonna have, she'll have. I hope she has got a scene where she can prove her worth as an actor, where she really gets to play with the character. That's what I like to see because she can carry. She does have that extra level of acting ability in there for sure. DC Studios apparently gets a new Batcave. What? DC Studios to get new production Batcave as Warner Bros. Plans soundstage expansion in Leavesden. The lot will have 29 stages and 1.78 million square feet of production space. James Gunn and Safran will consult on the project, so they're going to get a lot more room to play in over there in Leavesden, UK studio, in the UK, guys. Just outside central London. Well, they do shoot. We're learning here that it's valuable for production houses to have, uh, sound stages and spaces that they can work in outside of North America, especially now that the strike has been going on. Because if some of their production has been going on over in the UK, there's certain clauses under strike rules that allow productions to continue and finish their projects. So I can see the value in having both. Plus, it's a common thing. It's been happening since like James Bond, right? That they've been working with studios over there since like Star Wars. So this one doesn't come as a surprise. I'm sure that maybe one of the lots will be allocated specifically just for volume work, if not multiple stages will be set for volume work, because that will be the way to go. It will, for sure. Just a minor story there. Emily Blunt would have made more impact in Ahsoka. In Edge of Tomorrow, she had a commanding military presence. Oh, as Hera, that would have been so cool. Emily Blunt, I'm hoping out will be in Star Wars in some capacity. Maybe in the Old Republic, or maybe in if they ever get that David S. Goyer story off the ground about the first Jedi. Maybe she could be in that. That would be cool. Who knows? But from all what I understand about Emily Blunt is that she's not too keen on big blockbuster pictures that much anymore. Let's talk about that Spawn reboot. Spawn reboot script was agonizingly close to completion before strikes. Tom McFarlane says that production on the long-awaited Spawn reboot will continue once the strike is over. Well, yeah, no kidding. The script reboot is almost complete with only 30 pages left to write. Only 30 pages. Well, the script wasn't done yet before. Tom McFarlane's been wanting this thing off the ground for so long. Guys, this is a little bit of the Hellboy scenario. Yeah, there's an audience for it, but it's not a big enough audience to greenlight something like a $70 million picture. It's not big enough, definitely not big enough for $100 million. So a Spawn movie would have to come in under the $50 million mark, budget-wise. And Spawn's going to require a lot of CG work. Or does it? Does it have to? Is there a way that you could do it with some practical sets? I don't know. We were in the middle of writing the script, says McFarlane here, and then the writer's strike came, so that basically came to a screeching halt. The screenwriting came to a screeching halt, if you will, but they were pretty far along. So I'm assuming that once it's all said and done, we'll get back to it. The last 30 pages is all we need to finish. And so as soon as the strike's over, we'll get that quickly finished up. We'll do some rewrites. We'll go into Hollywood. We'll find a buyer. Maybe we'll find a couple of buyers getting into a bidding war. No, I don't think so. At least if somebody's smart out there, they'll heed what I just said. Yeah, as if their executives are looking for a small YouTube channel's advice. Anyway, and then we'll come back out and make an announcement that some days that says we've got the funding, the studio, and the production date all lined up. It's go time. So yeah, that answers Chris Schober's question. Is there going to be a release date? No, not yet, because nobody's picked it up yet to produce. The Spawn reboot will star Jamie Foxx as the titular. Well, yeah, he was attached to it, but because everything's been up in the air and floating around, the production was supposed to start October 12th, 2023. But yeah, I don't know if he's going to be remaining attached to it or not. The production is still being produced under Jason Blum's production company. Well, that's good. Blum will keep that budget low. He understands that. And is expected now to still star Jamie Foxx. Again, I think they're overestimating the fan base that's going to come out to see something like that. There is an angle that could be played for Spawn, for sure. Make it dark, make it gritty, make it bloody. Because, I mean, come on, he returns from hell to extract vengeance. Demonic things come after him. I want to see that played out. Arglass Viking says the first Jedi should just cast in loads of the thespian theater actors like George Lucas did with Alec Guinness. Yeah. Well, Emily Blunt she can act. She's got that level. And you see that in like the Quiet Ones, right? All right, where are we at? We're getting through? We're slowly getting through. Let's get to some horror headlines. When Evil Lurks, new film from Terrified director Damien Rugna, gets October release date. When Evil Lurks, this is an IFC Films theatrical release, October 6th, but then will come out 3 weeks later on Shudder. Now, I did watch the trailer for this one. It starts off promising. I'll give it that. But it's a foreign film, which is no problem here. I got no problem with watching foreign films. I don't mind subtitles. But then it's kind of like the trailer kind of does a disservice. Yeah. It starts off like, oh, there's a strange goat there. What's going on here? And of course, the goat taunts him, walks up to him. It's like, shoot me already. Boom. No, actually, the woman behind him kills her, or kills him. Sorry. It will follow you. An official selection from TIFF this year. Okay. The acting seems okay. But for me, sorry, you can't hear it. I just get lost in the latter half of the trailer where it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, what's happening now kind of thing. You got this weird kind of mutant creature thing in here. When evil lurks, yeah, a demon that can't stop. So does the demon go inside of you? It gets born from certain things. It's really weird. I miss your videos. Patiently wanting. Will it be in theaters? Well, we know it's going to be in there for a couple of weeks at least before it comes out on Shudder. The trailer didn't really work for me, but we'll see. There's some body horror there about things getting birthed that could be gross. And yeah, of course, yeah, you got that weird mutant monster in there. Some demon comes out, puts blood on this guy's forehead. When evil lurks. That's a horror movie coming out. The Exorcists trailer is out now. Doug Bradley is going to be a priest in this. Exorcist. Doug Bradley, of course, the original Pinhead. That got me intrigued. But the trailer is... It's hokey, guys. It's hokey. It's like, oh, we're serious. Exorcist. Actually, what was it, that movie that just last year that did this better? It wasn't the Pope's Exorcist. It was one where they're teaching. It was a guy from the first Resident Evil. He was in it in 2002. Okay, come on, please be. Is it James Butler? No, it's not. He was the commander in it. He was also in Alien versus Predator. Anyway, I'm forgetting about it. All those Exorcist movies kind of all bleed together. I mean, God's sakes. Why am I drawing a blank on it, James? Let's pull up Alien versus Predator. We'll pull out the actor and the Colin Salmon. Yeah, he was in it last year. What was it? Yeah, Pray for the Devil. That's what it was. He was in Pray for the Devil, and this trailer looks a bit like that with the teachings of like other exorcists, which is an interesting idea, but then it gets a little bit hokey.
All at the same time.
Sophie, wait.
This isn't an exorcism.
Where'd she go?
Oh, it's not?
It's a trap.
Hello?
Yeah.
It's getting antsy.
Well, let's not keep it waiting.
Reveal your name.
Yeah, so you hear the screams in there. That's like very generic.
You'll not have it.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me. The makeup looks a little bit.
Not have it. Cast him into the bottomless pit. You don't scare me.
What do you want?
Don't scare me.
With the white eyes. You can tell that I feel sorry for the actress to put those in. Maybe the trailer would work better for me if I saw it on the big screen. That does happen, but I don't think that this movie is going to be on the big screen. Um, it's cool to see that Doug Bradley's still working. But yeah, yeah. What are people saying? When does it come into theaters? I don't think it does. Great content. Can't wait for Canular bells playing over the credits. Oh yeah, like the Exorcist. Doug Bradley deserves better, huh? Still looks better than Exorcist Believer. Um, an Asylum release. So this comes out, The Exorcist, September 29th. September 29th. So next weekend, guys. The movie will have the following theatrical releases. So very small, limited release in theaters. If you're in LA, Cleveland, Minneapolis, Miami, or Atlanta, there are some theaters that you can go check out from the 29th to the 5th. The Exorcists. Well, actually, I kind of like that poster. Based on the terrifying true story. Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. True story. All exorcisms are based on true stories, aren't they? When Evil Lurks looks promising. It has a strong score based on a few reviews. I'll give it a fair shake. I will. Artglass says the trouble with Exorcists is that too many parodies have occurred between the original movie and the new outing. Excuse the pun. Hard to take it serious or be unnerved. Yeah. And that's why I like the ones kind of like The Exorcist of Emily Rose, where it was kind of like they were questioning if it's just all in her mind or not. And they got like a contortionist to come in and do the body movements. And for the most part, they didn't go with the scratched up look and all that kind of thing. It was just, I prefer that angle. I would like to see more of that angle played up, but I don't know. Looks like we're not going to get it. More horror headlines. Saw sequels are being planned beyond Saw 10. Producers reveal. That comes as no surprise. Yeah, but it's kind of like that Hunger Games story that we did. That's a prequel. Do you want more prequels? Because Saw 10 is a prequel. It happens in between Saw 1 and 2. So it doesn't continue the story anymore. Or do you want to see more, like later on down the line? Even Jigsaw was a prequel, right? We're kind of superstitious. We tend not to get too far ahead of ourselves, the producers say. The movie's going to be released in a few days. For us, we've done ideas for the next one. We haven't put pen to paper, but this is his story. We really wanted it to be John Kramer's story and to tell John Kramer's story. So for the first 30 minutes of the movie, it says he's John Kramer. You don't get a hint of Jigsaw. Really? He's already done the deeds of the first film. We know that he goes to Mexico to try to cure his cancer, so we'll see. During the conversation, Saw X director Kevin Guttert addressed the possibility of the role of John Kramer being recast. It's unlikely. Yeah, why would they ask that question? Very unlikely, no. We'll see. But yeah, I think that's pretty much a no-brainer. Next. Suitable Flash trailer. Heather Graham stars in H.P. Lovecraft-inspired horror. Portrays a possessed psychiatrist. Heather Graham portrays a possessed psychiatrist in this wild take of Lovecraft's The Thing on the Doorstep. Now, this has a very R-rated trailer, so it does have some very suggestive stuff in it. So we can't watch it. I mean, like people having relations. Because it is about that. It's like a demon that transfers itself in that way, kind of thing. It's good to see Heather Graham in it. Good Good to see Heather. Well, yeah, sorry, you can't. You didn't see anything there, but it's very suggestive. It's like that. I didn't like the trailer. Talking about too many edits. It flashes by like every second we're on to a new shot, and it's like, for God's sakes, learn how to edit a trailer. All right, that's enough for horror headlines. We're running a little bit over time. I started a little bit late. I apologize for that. Let's talk about the In Sync Star Wars cameo. Yeah, I knew about this when it first came out. Back when 2002, when it first came out. This came out in the forums, actually. And talk about having negative backlash. Once fans learned that In Sync, that they actually went on set and filmed stuff with George Lucas. And they're like, no, George, we do not want In Sync in Star Wars. So the cameo was cut. And for the longest of times, the rumors were that it was going to be in the bar scene when Anakin and Obi-Wan go in to chase that bounty hunter, that you were going to see the In Sync crew in the background performing on the stage or something. And that's what I had heard for the longest time. But apparently this article here sets it straight. So this is curious news, at least for me, because I like to get the record straight for a little bit. In Sync, who had recently reunited for a new song. Oh, did they? The boy band, they were, Sean Evans asked them, I guess during they filmed the Hot Ones episode. Okay. Asked them about their most memorable band moments, including when they were cast as Jedi Warriors in episode 2, Attack of the Clones. So they were Jedi Warriors? They were initially cast and learned a bit of Star Wars sword choreography for the role. Timberlake said that he and Bass were butthurt, because they weren't included. But Timberlake proceeded to joke about being relieved that the cameo ended up being cut on the cutting room floor. Okay, so Timberlake and Lance Bass were not originally there. It would have been the lesser known members who went on to do absolutely nothing afterwards. Okay, so they said Jedi Warriors, so maybe they would have been in the background at the Jedi Temple, I'm guessing? Maybe when he's going to talk to the younglings, you could see them in the background? Curious. I'm a Star Wars fan. I like the prequels, so I found that a bit of a curiosity there. Oh yeah, so yeah, they did do a Hot Ones one where they eat some hot chicken wings, right? All right. Some hit or miss headlines. No, let's continue with the Star Wars. Star Wars, 20 mistakes the sequel trilogy made. This will open up a big ball of wax, won't it? Let's take a look at your list. No plan. Yeah, everybody agrees about that. Lucasfilm even says that was the biggest mistake, that they had no plan. Putting all the eggs into the Rey basket. Well, they're still putting those eggs into the Rey basket because they still want to make a solo movie with her all by themselves. But that doesn't make sense, because if she's the remaining member of the Jedi or of the Force that knows how to use it and can train others, then isn't it just episode 10? That's what I just don't understand about it. If they make the Rey movie and it bombs, I just don't understand this decision making. And on top of it, there wouldn't have Finn in it, who was supposed to be Force sensitive. It's just ridiculous. Ignoring established characterization, most definitely. And any idiot out there, I'm using the word idiot here, who says, oh, if you don't understand Luke's character in Last Jedi, then you didn't watch him in the original trilogy. It's so the same character. No, it is not. It's you that has not watched the original trilogy. Luke went through his bumps. He learned through his mistakes. He became the beacon of hope, of no matter how bad it gets, he will never let hope go. He will always fight for that little sliver of hope. He would never, ever, once in a million years, think about igniting his lightsaber to kill his nephew. Never. And just have somebody out there who claims to be a Star Wars fan have the audacity to say that that's the same character from the original trilogy is nonsense. Don't. Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit heated about that, aren't I? Yeah. Wasting characters, Phasma, most definitely. But the prequels did that, James. Empire did. They did that all the way with Boba Fett. Well, did they really? No, they didn't. But Phasma was a waste. Choreography, yeah. Everybody says that. Look at that throne room fight scene in Last Jedi. Wasn't that great? But no, it's not. The choreography is atrocious. If you go out and watch a Corridor Crew stunt breakdown scene of that, it is extremely laughable. And it's kind of like on the surface level. That's my problem with the sequel trilogy. On the surface level, what J.J. Abrams did, and Rian Johnson to some extent, is they wowed you with the flashes, with the quick camera movements, with the color palette. And you get caught up in that and you don't realize what you're actually watching is not good work at all. It's laughable, actually. Like people getting up or falling down when they're not even hit. Lightsabers disappearing out of nowhere. And so like, yeah. Nostalgia for nostalgia's sake? No, I don't think that was a problem. Somehow, no new villain. Well, yeah. I don't know anybody who believes the BS that it was always the plan to have Palpatine in there. No, it wasn't. They should have just said Snoke was somebody else who was a dark side practitioner trying to create his own powers, right? His own forces. Palpatine should have never been brought back into the mix. The send-offs, yeah, you don't need the send-offs. I never understood that. Oh, we can't have people wanting to see new movies with the old cast. Why can't you? Oh, because we got to kill them off. Why do you have to kill them off? Yeah. The First Order. I actually had no problem with the First Order. Of course, there would be remnants. The unfinished story, yeah. With that story, guys, I would have just said, you should have made Finn and Rey the same character. You get a Death Star and you get a Death Star. Yeah. In and out universe information. Rinse and repeat. The rinse and repeat stuff is okay, though, because George always intended it to have things that seemed similar. That's kind of like what I liked about the Baylan Skoll monologue in the Ahsoka series, is that he talks about that thing. There's a cycle to things. The good guys rise up to, and then the bad guys slowly rebuild their forces, and then they get to be in power. And it goes around and around and again. And that's why I'm curious to see if Baylan Skoll can get his goal of it, trying to reset it all. Set up without payoffs. Yeah, the Snoke storyline just, it was an interesting idea. Yeah, the dark side users do try to kill each other. It's just right in the middle of the second movie. It's not the right time to pay that off, Rian Johnson. It's either at the end of the second movie or at the end of the third movie. Reylo, interesting idea. Yeah, I like that part. The Force or the plot. Yeah, they could have handled Leia being able to use her Force abilities a little bit better than that. Forced comedy. Forced. Completely ignoring previous stories. Yeah. They fly now. No, they don't. They've always flown. Recycling previous stories poorly. Each character is an island. Saying that what, they don't nuance it. Yeah. Talk to the younglings. That puts a new twist in the tale, James. Have kids, you've seen my new lightsaber. It slices and dices. Luke Force choked the Gamorrean guards in Jabba's palace. That was total Sith move. I could imagine Luke as the late corner Jedi lashing out against Ben. So what are you saying? Because he was using the Force for attack there, that he was always never going to have a full, firm control of the Force? Well, to counter that, at the very end, he walks away from violence. He even throws away his lightsaber. So within the same movie, that point of him using the dark side gets kind of squashed. That's the way I would look at it. All right, just a few more headlines here, guys, and we're going to call it a day. Sophie Turner sues Joe Jonas for a return of their children to forever home in England. Yeah, the children were following him around on some world tour event or something, right? The the divorce statement that they published last week, saying that they're going their separate ways and having it a mutual kind of thing, seemed to be widely accepted. But now that she's suing him, now things are going to get ugly. And that sucks. And I just saw pictures of Taylor Swift and Sophie Turner out walking together, being friends, which I thought was cool. But the situation is going to get... You hate to see these things. And the fact that kids are involved. Sucks. Howard Stern is in the headlines this week for sure. Howard Stern says Bill Maher should shut his mouth after sexist and nutty remark. I think I'm no longer friends with him. And Bill Maher's been in the news too because he was going to bring back his show, but then because of the strike, he said, no, I can't do it now all of a sudden. And it's like, yeah, whatever. So he said, he took a big shot at me, Stern said. Basically, he says, Howard Stern always gets on the radio and says he loves his wife. I've never been criticized for this. He goes, haven't had enough of that? What about his first wife? I really feel bad for her. Oh, okay. So Mara was saying something about his first wife, that she feels bad that Stern's always going on the radio saying that he loves his current wife. Why? What? Yeah, that's weird. I don't get that. Anyway, it's just a riff, some beefs there. Whatever. All right, guys, unless I missed a big movie trailer that dropped, I think that's all the headlines. We got a little bit overtime today. That's fine. Boudica, the Queen of War trailer. Boudica? Have I, do I need to watch that? Ryan Gosling for Gucci. Paul Mescal for Gucci. Jodie Turner-Smith in Milan. Emma Watson and Scarlett Johansson at Prada dinner in Milan. Oh my God. Imagine sitting at that table. I'd be just like, I'd just feel blessed and fortunate. Gonna give that the old thumbs up. Spy Kids Armageddon is now streaming on Netflix. Is it? Let's pull it up. That's the one with, oh yeah, it is. Recently added, Spy Kids Armageddon. No plans to watch that one, guys. It's meant for kids. I could maybe try to do a Grumpy Man reacts to it, but I'm really not all that interested. I'm more interested in the idea of doing Grumpy Man reacts to Miss Marvel, honestly. Friends, Olivia Rodrigo. No One Will Save You. Caitlin Dever is now streaming on Hulu. Yeah, I heard about that. An alien invasion or like alien abduction movie, which I got no problem. I watch an alien abduction movie. If it's on Hulu, No One Will Save You. Okay. Maybe that's on, if it's migrated over from, sometimes Disney Plus here in Canada migrates over the Hulu stuff. Oh, it is there. It is there. Should we watch that this afternoon, people? Oh, of course, you're not allowing me to see it. All right. Well, we can remedy that. We'll just go to the YouTube trailer. I can't watch the trailer on Disney Plus because Chrome blocks it out. What's it called again? God, James, you just had it pulled up. It what is it called? No one will save you. All right, let's take a look. No, you don't. James. And I think this guy is a new director as well. So maybe it is topical that we should watch this movie. See, scares like that. That's what I mean by the ingredients of a horror movie. I pity the fool who made mine. This looks like a very much of a character piece with just her. Ooh. Guys, I think they just sold me. We're watching this 1 p.m. or 1:30. I haven't decided because we're running a little bit over time. A little bit of okay, well that final shot, but big alien. A little bit of fire in the sky there when interesting. Usually, most alien movies have a stronger sci-fi tone than a horror tone, but this looks horror, and I love it. No one bit of dialogue. Yeah, did we hear her talk? Huh. Yeah, that one looks promising. And then there's Boudica, Queen of War trailer.
Forward!
Those Roman soldiers? Is this a period piece? Inspired by
Tell me,
true
what does it
events.
mean?
Boudica was a queen, a goddess, and some believe she will come again to free us from the
Oh, is
Romans.
that Olga Kurylenko?
They believe that a woman warrior will somehow be their salvation.
They must not find their savior.
Our people asked the gods of the land to provide us a leader, and now they have. Accept me and my men as your loyal servants, my queen.
Rome will not recognize you as queen.
She was up for Wonder Woman. She went in for the auditions when Gal Gadot was cast.
Hail Nero.
I am Boudica. You are my people. We're in a time of extreme peril. We fight
Production values
for our
look pretty
freedom.
good, that looks cool. I like that. Maybe it's because of my lineage. I respect the face paint, the war paint, warriors. Yeah, this looks cool, actually.
Your will will be my queen.
And I dig that. She's got like a loyal second in command. That's cool. When does that come out? Coming soon. That's a good trailer. Olga is my favorite modern day female action star that's not a well-known martial artist. Huh? Olga is perfect choice for this. I love Olga since I saw her in The Hitman. I only first saw her in, what was it? Quantum of Solace was the first thing I saw her in. Okay, this movie with a female lead looks good. Lots of character growth. I like the action sequence. I was a little bit hesitant at first that it wouldn't look good, because it looked like maybe they were struggling, that they didn't have the budget to pull off some of these scenes. But I think it's her that helps sell it. Like the intensity in her eyes. Yeah, I dig it. Boudica, Queen of War. All right, guys, that's pretty much the way that we can end out today. Of course, I would reassess my last statement if it weren't as an alien. Yeah, I think we might end up watching that Alien movie. Although I should, I do really need to start in on Tomb Raider at some point here. Boudica is coming out October 26th of 2023, apparently. Is that the release date? It didn't. It said coming soon at the end. Let me see if I can pull up the IMDb quickly here. Rated R, October 26th. Yeah. Oh, I like that poster too. Yeah, I'm glad that Gal Gadot took the role of Wonder Woman, but you could see that she definitely had that. They're cut from like the same cloth, right? But this one looks a little bit more intense. Yeah, that poster with the look on her face, like, ugh. Yeah, cool, man. Cool. I'll be if that plays here, I have absolutely no problem checking that out. Yeah. All right, guys, that's it for me. It's 12 o'clock. I got to go have my breakfast now, and then we'll come back on. I don't know if it'll be on Twitch or no. If we watch that movie, it'll be here on YouTube. Clive Standen is the Boudica. He played Rollo in the Viking series. Oh, really? I need to get into the Viking series too. My God, there's just too much to do. All right, guys, that's it for me. Enjoy your weekend. Go and see one of those movies in the theater. If they intrigue you, let me know what your thoughts are. And I'll see you next time on Mirror Domain.